Hey everybody, hey Redacted fans. This is just a video to, I'm going to start doing this more often. It's me getting a chance to interact with you, chat with you, go over some of your comments, answer some of your questions. I'll talk a little bit about topics that are going on that maybe didn't get into Redacted tonight, or, you know, they happened after we taped it, or whatever it is. But maybe it's something I'll cover next week. Maybe it's the best behind-the-scenes moment from that week's Redacted. Whatever it is, it's just a little more chatty, a little bit too, because, you know, I do the show every week, and I love doing the show, but it's not, the show is its own thing. It's not really about chit-chatting with you all. So hopefully this will become a regular thing. If you guys like it, that's my plan, is do it once a week. If you hate it, I will stop, because I am your dancing monkey. Hey! But no, it'll be, we'll do this once a week, and I already have some comments, by the way, that I'm going to respond to from you all. I'll try and do that every week, so you can see yours read out here. And also, there's a way, if you comment on this video, we're going to pick one commenter to give a free download of my stand-up comedy special, Not Allowed on American TV. The new stand-up comedy special. It's only at leecampcomedyspecial.com. You can now watch the first 10 minutes for free if you just click play over there. But I'm going to give the full download for free to someone who leaves a comment. We're just going to pick one of the comments at random next week, and we'll give that out to one of you. So please leave a comment to be entered into that. But all right, let's get to some of this stuff. First, I'm going to start off with some topics here. Obviously, yesterday was the horrific massacre in New Zealand, and like, you know, most of what there is to say about that you have already heard. It's terrible. It's horrific. It's a sad loss of life. The thing that I don't feel is sad enough in these circumstances is that most of these extremist crimes, and this one, have to do or are connected to extremist white supremacists. When it comes to these, you know, gun down massacres in America, everyone in 2018 in America, every extremist mass shooting, it was connected to right-wing extremism, and most of them were also connected to white supremacy. So when people run around going, "Oh, terrorists are only Arab people," or terrorists are only Muslims, it's like, no, these are terrorists. And half the time the media tries to say, it's a lone wolf. Oh, why is it a lone wolf? Oh, because he was white. That makes him a lone wolf. He was sick in the head. Whereas if you're not white, then they're like, it was a terrorist conspiracy. And they, you know, so it's completely different the way they cover these things. I wanted to say that. I'll probably cover this on Redacted or Redacted VIP next week, so I don't want to get too much ahead of myself, but I was, you know, seeing CNN. They're covering the massacre in New Zealand, and they're like, this is, well, what's caused this is there's just too much violence in our society, and there's a lot Islamophobia that has been perpetrated, and they're absolutely right. But guess what? That goes for all of our bombing too. Our endless bombing of the Arab world, of the Middle East. What the fuck is that? But terrorism and massacres and Islamophobia. It's all of those things. It's connected to white supremacy too. So it's like they're acting like only mass shootings are white supremacist or Islamophobic or anti-Muslim. But our bombings are those things too, and they kill far more civilians. Far more innocent, unknowing civilians than these mass shootings have killed if you added them all up. So I wanted to make that point, but obviously the loss of life is horrific. Another, I mean, this story is, you're probably amazed that I am still, I have not lost my ability to be shocked. Somehow I maintain that one aspect through this job. I'm still able to be shocked, but I don't know if you even heard about this. It's basically not covered on our mainstream media. Like a gang of masked men charged in to the North Korean embassy in Spain, like put bags over people's head, beat them, stole some data and you know, drives, hard drives and computers and stuff, and interrogated them about a former North Korean ambassador that had worked there that now works on the nuclear negotiation committee with Donald Trump. And Spain, because this was in the North Korean embassy in Spain, has found out that at least 2 of those, this is El País that's reporting this, 2 of the 10 assailants clearly have connections to the CIA. That's what they're saying. So this is our CIA barging in to the North Korean embassy and beating the shit out of people to try and get information on one of the nuclear negotiators. Like, what the fuck? This is the gang who couldn't shoot straight. And he gets no coverage that we're doing these things? It's mind-blowing. And of course, I mean, not of course, I don't know what their purpose was. I don't know what their goal was, but it seems to me, if you watch the mainstream media, if you know what the CIA is saying, if you know what Mike Pompeo and John Bolton are saying, they all hate the idea of peace with North Korea. They fucking hate it. The only one who's wanted peace with North Korea, bizarrely, is the man-child Donald Trump. So, on one of the few things Donald Trump is doing right, they're undermining him every step. And maybe this is part of that undermining. Maybe this is connected to the CIA with, you know, that's just a guess. I don't have any proof other than the fact that these guys were connected to the CIA, which is fucking nuts. These fucking idiots. Okay, let's get into some of your comments real quick. This is from the episode Russiagate Accidentally Debunked by Left-Wingers. By the way, for those of you who maybe didn't see that segment, that was from Redacted VIP. I'd love for you to go check it out because, you know, I've done things talking about this ridiculous neo-McCarthyism and how ridiculous Russiagate is, despite the fact that Trump's corrupt. He's not corrupt in that way, and because it's fucking laughable. It's WMD all over again, except now they're using it to point at everyone. You know, if you voted for Bernie Sanders, you're a Russian. If you voted for Jill Stein, you're a Russian. So it's nonsense. But I haven't actually broken it down as specifically as that one, and I quoted from, I played clips from Katrina Vanden Heuvel and Robert Scheer, and, you know, so anyway, I think you'll like it. Check it out. But that aside, this comment is from Kasiji03. Let's go with that. Maddo is so concerned with her Russian scenario. I suppose it would be too much to ask how she feels about the actual situation of Flint, Michigan being poisoned by a government entity. That's not Russia. Has she spent 1 minute talking about those events that have been going on for years, or DAPL? These are factual happenings and by the United States against its own people. She can't stop living in dreamland. Stop turning on your TVs for information and just for lulls. You're contributing to their existence. I think there she means Maddo and them. By the way, I'm almost positive that Maddo has covered Flint, Michigan, probably several times, and she has covered DAPL to some extent. But I still agree with this comment because, you know, they cover Flint, Michigan as like an interesting oddity that, you know, happened for a few weeks or something, and then they'll give a little update a few weeks later. They have not covered it in the way that they've covered Russiagate, which is this bam, 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 50% of every single show, every single night. There's nothing else in the world that's going on except for the fucking Russiagate. Russians are under your desk. They're everywhere. Oh my God. Like, that is... It is incessant, and if they'd done that, think about how much change they could create in this world if they did that with important issues. If they did it with you know, like she says, DAPL, like oil pipelines ripping across everybody's land and yards and rivers, or if they did it with climate change rather than a little mention of climate change here and there. And oh, you know, I saw CNN today or yesterday was like, oh, the kids are marching. Isn't that interesting? And then let's go back to talking about Russiagate for another 9 hours straight. So it's not that these things haven't been mentioned. Flint, Michigan was probably mentioned on every, did I call it Michigan? Flint, Michigan was probably mentioned. Flint, Michigan was probably mentioned on almost every news show to some extent or another. Maybe not Fox News, but it's a completely different way of covering it. You know, they've also mentioned Yemen, right? There's a reference to the fact that all the people are dying in Yemen or famine in Yemen, but they're not hammering away at it. which is the manufacturing of consent. That's how it's done, right? The manufacturing of consent for war, the manufacturing of consent for a new Cold War. It has to be like constant. And so that's the big difference, I think, between these topics. And they could create these channels, these main news channels. I mean, I'm a little alternative thing, right? But the main channels that are getting the millions and millions of views, if they were hammering away on the important shit, they could change the world tomorrow. But they're not, because they're indebted to Wall Street and corporations and that shit. You know, to use my tremendous vocabulary, they're committed to that shit. The shit they're committed to. This is from Ken Rose. I swear to God I'm not high, even though I'm just having a good time. This is from Ken Rose. He says, ever heard of Radio Free Europe? It broadcast American propaganda and lies into the Soviet Union during the Cold War. It's time for Radio Free America to broadcast the truth to an entire nation of dumbed down, clueless, uneducated, and warmongering psychopaths. How do you really feel, Ken? Yeah, well, you know, that kind of thing still exists. There's Voice of America, I think it's called, that is a radio station that continues to this day to put out America's kind of state propaganda, and on an even higher level than, say, our state propaganda put forward by NPR and CNN and all the others. That just basic. I mean, they're just stenographers to the State Department. Whatever the State Department says, they basically run along and go, oh my God, North Korea's so dangerous, so we need to stay on the brink of nuclear war with them because they're so dangerous. What? What did you just say? Yeah, they just repeat, Venezuela, oh, Venezuela's doing horrible things. Meanwhile, Israel's gunning down innocent Palestinians left and right. 189 have been murdered in the Great March of Return that's been going on. And, you know, that's not a real problem for them. That doesn't matter. But Venezuela, we need to overthrow their government. And this one is from Vlada, if I'm pronouncing that right. So the Deepwater Horizon oil spill PR guy. This is from our segment we did on Redacted Tonight. It was called Big Tech Joins Big Oil to Help Destroy the Planet. And we mentioned this fact that she or he is talking about. So the Deepwater Horizon oil spill PR guy now heads the oil division at Google. I should be surprised at quite a few things in the sentence, but I'm not. I worked in tech when Microsoft was pretty much running roughshod over computer industry pre-mobile, and I've long lost any illusion that Google was any different than Apple or Microsoft when the sociopath Ballmer was there. I now realize that generation that replaced the Ballmer, Jobs, Ellison are far worse because of their almost messianic zeal for societal reshaping. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to the different generations. I don't know that any of these the leaders of these tech companies have ever been out to just help the people. You know, there's at least some degree of CIA funding and crafting in the early days of Facebook and Google. That doesn't mean that the CIA created it. It just means they saw how important it was, and they were like, let's have our fingers in there. Let's have our fingers in there. You know, like a fucking drunk guy in an orgy. They've got their fingers in everything. And I don't know if that joke was offensive. I don't think it was. I think this is an orgy. People are enjoying themselves. I don't know. I've lost my ability to realize what's offensive and what's not. I'm not sure if this is the response Vlado was expecting from this comment, but yes, you know, that is insane that, like, the big oil would hire the PR guy for the Deepwater Horizon. But basically, the PR guy, and I don't even remember his name, he proved himself, right? He proved he could take a major corporation with one of the largest disasters that has ever been seen on the earth, at least happening in one time like that with the one oil spill, and spin it around so that company's doing fine today, right? Is BP really struggling? Did they pay fines that nearly put them out of business? Fuck no. They are happy. They are skipping through the park right now. So that PR guy proved himself. He proved how good a job he could do at taking a gut-wrenching, world-changing event and making it roll off a corporation's back. So, of course, Google's going to hire him or other companies are going to hire him. That's how it works. That's how you prove yourself. You prove that you can cover up their sociopathy, and then they'll hire you because they're like, this guy, he's got his shit together. All right, last comment. One sentence from Patrick Miluski. He says, big tech and big oil need to be broken up. Boom! Nailed it. I like this guy. He should run for office. Elizabeth Warren has also been saying that big, I don't think she said big oil, but big tech should be broken up. And that's, like I've said, I said this with Bernie Sanders when I covered him on the, we're a year and a half out from this fucking election, and the president doesn't change everything anyway. So really, we should be focusing on ideas, because otherwise, we just get so wrapped up in presidential, just all we ever talk about. But ideas are important. Elizabeth Warren has been talking about the idea of breaking up these monopolies, and she's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. These things are massive. These corporations own our world, man. And they should be broken up. And they should be brokenhearted, too. Let's hurt their feelings. Let's fucking do that. So here's the deal, folks. You can win my stand-up comedy special. It was taped live in Los Angeles. There's a special opening by Abby Martin, which you can go watch that for free, as well as the opening 10 minutes. That's all at leecamp.com. leecamp.comedyspecial.com. And you just click play if you want to watch the free 10 minutes. But to get the full special, to get the full thing for free, just leave a comment on this video. We'll give it away to one winner. You got to listen in next week to find out who the winner is. And that's all that'll work. Just a comment or whatever. And yes, we'll even take a comment that just says comment or what, hi, fine. Well, you still get in the raffle, but I don't like it. You're not really participating with the group here, folks. We want a real comment. But if you give a comment, we'll add you into the raffle to win the comedy special. And what else do I want to say? But yeah, I hope you enjoy these. I hope you chat with me. Like I said, I'll be answering your comments and questions every week. Get a little more interaction rather than just the scripted Redacted Tonight, which, of course, I hope you enjoy as well. But, all right, let me know what you think of this. Let me know what you think of this format, the chatty format. And keep fighting.